Hi everyone, welcome to the Ask Dr. Khan Show. This is episode 127, and today we're going to talk about the 7 major areas of autoimmune reaction. Now, in our practice, we help mainly people with autoimmune disease, thyroid problems, leaky gut, hashimotos, ulcerative colitis, chronic fatigue, chronic neurological issues. People usually have gone to multiple practitioners prior to consulting with us, because they have tried everything under the sun. They tried a medical approach, they tried a natural supplement approach, nothing's working. I'm going to tell you, in people with autoimmune, supplements can hurt you if you're taking the wrong thing. So you don't want to just randomly take something. You have to understand how the immune system works and how autoimmune actually causes problem, how autoimmune rear its ugly head, so that you know how to actually do the right thing and not mess yourself up. So today we're going to talk about the 7 major areas. By understanding these pathways, how autoimmune is triggered, you're going to be able to calm your immune system down, to modulate, to reduce the autoimmune attack. Now, in people with autoimmune, once you turn on the gene for autoimmunity, you're always going to have autoimmune. There's no known way of curing autoimmune. Now, people can go into remission. You can manage it so much so that your immune system go into remission that you actually feel great. You have high quality of life. You no longer have fatigue. You no longer have hair loss. You're able to lose weight. Your brain fog goes away. Your joint pain goes away. You can feel great. That's what happens in our practice. We have helped over 5,000 clients in our virtual consultation program, where we help people across the country, across the globe, with our video teleconsultation services, where we help them manage their lifestyle, change their nutritional intake, use specific supplements, and do detox to help them get their lives back. You can see over 120 video testimonials at our website at askdrkhan.com. Now, we know this can be done, so let me show you how the pathway actually works, and then we'll show you what specific supplements that can work for each area. So there's 7 major areas of autoimmune reactivity. So 7 major areas of autoimmune. I should say autoimmune reactivity, because this is where in your body where the immune system can go wrong. This is what the mechanism, the cellular pathway for this. So you have to identify the cellular pathway, because there's no such thing as treating the symptom of autoimmune. Because in people with Hashimoto's, that's a autoimmune attacking thyroid gland, you may have hair loss, weight gain, fatigue, brain fog. These are thyroid symptoms, but what pill do you take for those symptoms? See, there's no pill to take for that. You can take thyroid hormone, but most people with Hashimoto, taking thyroid hormone doesn't solve the problem. You can have autoimmune disease to the brain, MS, multiple sclerosis. You have numbness, tingling, you have neurological motor loss even. But what pill do you take for that? You can take a medication that can shut down the immune system, but at the end of the day, it's all about identifying what is happening on a cellular level so that you can actually reverse some of these things. So we're going to talk about the 7 major areas where this can happen. Okay, number 1, excuse me, let me write over here. It's called the nuclear factor Kappa B self-amplifying pathway. Now, nuclear factor Kappa B, this is a protein that's found in every cell in your body, and these protein inside the cell is actually what triggers the expression of pro-inflammatory cytokine. Fancy way of saying inflammation. So these proteins that are found in every single cell in the body, when triggered, what can trigger it? An infection, a toxin, or exposure to stress, or exposure to a food that you're sensitive to, eating the wrong things. So any type of stress that will trigger the body to go into some kind of response to protect you, which is what inflammation is. This guy is what triggers that inflammation response inside your DNA. Okay, so this is called the final common pathway for all inflammatory reactions, because it starts inside the cell, where your cell says there's some type of stress response, some type of infection, toxin, something's attacking me. Let's start this inflammatory response so that I can protect the cells and heal the damage This is what starts it. Okay, so this is where autoimmune starts. It starts with the activation where this self-amplifying pathway gets activated. What does that mean, self-amplifying? That means it's called a vicious cycle, because the more NF-kappa B that's activated, it triggers more genetic expression of inflammation. The more inflammation you have, the more NF-kappa B gets activated, which triggers more inflammation, which triggers more NF-kappa B activation. So it's a self-amplifying loop because it feeds on itself. It's a feed-forward pathway, or you can call it a vicious cycle. It becomes worse and worse. Why is that important? Because this can get so bad to the point where this can actually build plasticity. Plasticity in this pathway. Plasticity in the pathway. What does that mean, plasticity? That means you get that system working so good that it just doesn't even know how to shut off anymore. It's triggering inflammation all the time that develop plasticity where it doesn't even know how not to have inflammation anymore. So this is where maybe in the beginning there was a triggering event. Maybe you were in a bad car accident, or you went through pregnancy, and after pregnancy then you feel postpartum, and that's when the autoimmune starts. For many women, that's the experience, because during pregnancy your immune system shifts, and that can actually trigger autoimmune. After a car accident, after a severe injury, after a major stress in your life, maybe you went through bankruptcy, divorce, something stressful happened, that can also trigger autoimmune. Maybe it's gluten sensitivity. Maybe it's an infection you had that you no longer have. Maybe it's a chemical exposure you had at one point that you no longer have. Maybe it's an accident you had before, but you haven't had an accident for many years. But what happened is, once this pathway gets ramped up, even the initial trigger is no longer there, the inflammation is still there. That's why this is bad, because you can actually develop plasticity. So that's why if you have inflammation that's not controlled, it can get to the point where there's nothing there triggering it, but you're still inflamed because you let that pathway go too long. Okay? And I'm going to talk about what you can do to help modulate and decrease that pathway so that the inflammation doesn't go as bad for you. Okay? But that's really important to understand. That's why you want to take care of problems when you have it, and not wait till it becomes a major problem, because it can get to the point where it becomes very difficult to wind it down. Because it gets so ramped up, it can become difficult to wind down or shut off. Okay, so that's the first place that can happen, NF-kappa B. The second place that can happen is called the glutathione recycling system. Now, in case you didn't know, glutathione is a master antioxidant in the body. Every single cell in your body produces it. Okay? And it's a way that your body blocks oxidative stress or inflammation. Now, glutathione happens to be also very important in phase 2 liver detoxification pathway and a glutathione conjugation pathway. In fact, glutathione is a great metal detoxer. It chelates or binds to metals really well. But glutathione is also used by the immune system to regulate itself so it does not become autoimmune. So people with hashimotos, with ulcerative colitis, with Crohn's disease, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, any type of autoimmune, glutathione is really important to help control that immune system. Now, the way the glutathione works is that you have what's called reduced glutathione. And this reduced glutathione, I'm going to write GSH for glutathione. Okay, GSH is a short form of it. So reduced glutathione is something you can actually buy in a supplement. It also occurs in your body. But what happens is your body will take that reduced glutathione, and with an enzyme called glutathione peroxidase, it'll break that reduced glutathione down into oxidized glutathione. So reduced glutathione is a usable form. Your body breaks it down into the oxidized form. This is the glutathione that's already taken a bullet for you. So think of the glutathione as a bulletproof vest that's taking the bullet for you. Okay, inflammation sources, different toxins, infection. Glutathione takes that bullet for you, and it breaks down into this oxidized glutathione, where it's kind of broken up. Well, your body has the ability to recycle it back into the reduced glutathione. You can take that bulletproof vest and put it back together and use it again. So there's an enzyme called glutathione reductase. So your body can recycle that glutathione. So in people with autoimmune, this system is either overburdened because you're spinning so fast. Because when you have autoimmune, you need more glutathione than if you don't have autoimmune. So glutathione is really important for people with autoimmunity. And there's different forms of glutathione. We have reduced glutathione, which you can take in the oral form. However, research showed that reduced glutathione, the absorption of which is not very good because the gastric acid, the stomach acid, actually breaks down the glutathione and you just don't absorb it well. Some research also showed that the liver kind of just breaks it down also, so you don't really absorb it that well. So we don't tend to use just reduced glutathione. If you do use reduced glutathione, a lot of times it's used in the IV form. So you got to get an injection, which is a pain in the arm or pain in the butt, and it's expensive, so nobody likes to do that. It's not very convenient. You can't do it all the time. So then there was cream that you could rub in. Okay. Again, the absorption of that is not great systemically. Depends on how much body fat you have. And then we came out with liposomal glutathione, which is glutathione encased in a fat sphere. So the fat sphere protects the glutathione molecule. So when your body absorbs the fat sphere in your intestinal lining, then the fat sphere lets go of the glutathione, then that becomes a delivery vehicle. So that becomes a very good way to deliver it. So that's one way. But even then, we're still delivering reduced glutathione. What does that mean? That means the reduced glutathione actually works more in the serum, in your blood. So it circulates in the blood, kind of acts like a scavenger. It scavenges free radicals, okay? It can bind to toxins. So it does stuff more in the serum, but not so much getting into the cell as well, okay? So your body does produce it inside the cell. Your body naturally makes it, but when you take a supplemental form, the reduced glutathione, some gets in, but it's not the most preferred form. So there's another form called the acetylglutathione. The acetylglutathione then has the ability to actually bind to the cell membrane and get inside the cell. So there's a time and place to use reduced glutathione. There's a time and place to use acetylglutathione. Many times what I do is, with some people, I use both. For people with autoimmune, I want the intracellular benefit. This is intracellular, okay? Where the reduced glutathione is more in the serum, more in the blood. So sometimes I want to do both. I want to get inside the cell to protect the inside of the cell, right? But also help with autoimmunity. But then I also want the serum one to help with scavenging free radicals and also to act as a detox, like a chelator to bind to metals. So sometimes I'll have to use both. In the past, I came in two different products, two different supplements. So guess what? There's a new thing called Glutathione Synergy. This is a breakthrough, okay? Glutathione Synergy is combining reduced glutathione, so it has that, combining acetylglutathione, so it has that for intracellular, and also has N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine is an amino acid that's a precursor for glutathione. So we're also giving you the building blocks so your body can make it on its own. So it's even better because then we're making the cycle, make this cycle more fit. Make your glutathione recycling more fit so it can do its own job better. So not only are we supplying you with the actual glutathione to protect you, we're also giving you something to help your body make its own glutathione. And all of these, for the first time, it's all in a liposomal form, so you get a double protection from the liposome to protect the glutathione so you can use it better, and the acetylglutathione is also another form of protection that protects the glutathione so it can go into the cell. So this is really awesome. I'm going to put the link on this post so you can see this product and you can order the product for yourself. The best thing about it, it's a liquid form. Okay, it's liquid and it tastes great. Because what happens is the reduced glutathione in the liposomal form many times has a sulfur smell because glutathione is a sulfur-containing compound. So it's got this rotten egg sulfur smell and taste to it. In fact, when I use the glutathione, the liposomal, the old way that I use it, some people, my clients, they call it minty poop. Sometimes they'll call it, some kind of peppermint poison because they try to cover up with some peppermint taste, but they can taste the rotten egg smell and the taste through it. So people don't, the compliance rate for that is poor. Some people just cannot even stomach it, they just return the product. So this product tastes great. Tastes like very lemony and orangey. It's a liquid, it's liposomal, it's got the 3 different forms that help with glutathione production. You're going to see in just a little bit, as I go through the 7th pathway, glutathione is going to be used in multiple places. So this is going to help with this glutathione step. Okay, very, very important. I'm going to have you guys go check it out. Number 3 step right here is going to be the barrier system. Okay, now this is so important. It's a big part of my practice to help people heal the barrier. What do I mean by barrier? I mean the immune barrier. Your immune barrier. Okay, and guess what's the largest barrier of your body? That's your immune system. It's your GI tract, your gut barrier. In fact, some research, depends on who you read, 70 up to 80% of your immune system's in your gut. So we got to heal the barrier. So that's where leaky gut comes in. If you have leaky gut, which is a condition where your intestinal lining becomes compromised due to chronic inflammation, then you're going to have this double whammy of malabsorption and inflammation. So we must heal the gut barrier in order for your autoimmune to heal. In fact, there's 3 prerequisites for autoimmune. Number 1 prerequisite for autoimmune is there must be some genetic susceptibility. Someone in your family has it, you have the gene for it, but you can't change the gene, so you don't worry about it. Number 2 factor is barrier compromise. You have leaky gut. That's not going to work. You got to heal the gut barrier. Number 3 is a triggering event. That means something have to have trigger it. Like I mentioned earlier, a pregnancy, a car accident, a stress, or a daily trigger. What's a daily trigger? Something that you're eating every day that's causing problem for you. For example, gluten. If you have gluten sensitivity, every day you eat gluten or you're exposed to gluten, you're triggering this autoimmunity. So you must fix that. So if you have autoimmune, pay attention. If you or someone you know that has autoimmune disease, you must pay attention to this. You must heal the gut. That's lifestyle. There's supplements too. What I use specifically here is called GI Resuscitate. In fact, I'm going to say it's actually a gut repair kit. Okay? It's a gut repair kit that contains GI Resuscitate, which is a product that contains multiple compounds that heals the gut and seals the gut and decreases gut inflammation. We also use a product called NeuroMetabolic Meal, which is a protein powder with vitamins and minerals that support blood sugar and stabilize your metabolism. And then also Fiber FX. This contains soluble and insoluble fiber so that we can actually help with elimination. Also, the fiber in this product helps support prebiotic levels, and prebiotics food for the probiotic, so that would help build up the gut. And you need probiotic to be in a proper balance in order to help with gut health as well. So this gut repair kit is what we use to help support the immune. I'm giving you the secrets, folks. I'm telling you exactly what I do in my practice to help people with autoimmune. So take notes. Number 4 step is T helper 1 and T helper 2 polarity shift. Big words. What does that mean? That means your immune system has 2 branches. It's like a teeter-totter. This is a teeter-totter. Take my word for it. It's a teeter-totter, okay? We have T helper 1 on this side and T helper 2 on this side. And the T helper 1 cells are white blood cells that are called killer cells. There are many different types of T helper 1 cells, but they are cells that go and kill off the pathogens. T helper 2 cells are the cells that produce antibodies. Basically, they remember who the bad guys are, so next time when you come in contact with the bad guy, they can mount a response faster. So your immune system is in constant shift. This teeter-totter is constantly shifting from Th1 dominant to Th2 dominant depending on what you're dealing with and what process the process you're fighting an infection of some type. In autoimmune, you either become Th1 dominant, where the killer cells become too active and they can't shut off, and that's bad because then your immune system constantly is attacking your own body and can't shut off. Or you have Th2 dominant autoimmune, where your body's making too much antibody. That's bad because then your immune system making antibody against self-tissue, that's why you become autoimmune. So you have this shift where you're either stuck in one or stuck in the other. Okay? So what you want is you want to reduce the polarity by making them come back to neutral as much as you can. How do you do that? Actually, it's the next step. The next step is the T helper 3 cells, which is the balancer, the central balancer of this teeter-totter to make it more stable is the T helper 3 cells. These are called the regulatory T cells. This is the all-important step right here. Okay? because you need to be able to control the polarity of your immune system, because that's why you're autoimmune. Your immune system is attacking too much and you can't put the brake on. We've got to bring it back into balance. It's out of balance. The T helper 3 cells is how you bring it back to balance. These regulatory T cells can be supported through nutrition. So what are some of the nutrition that can support regulatory T cells? Glutathione. Remember we talked about glutathione? That is going to be happening in different places here, in a couple of places, right? In the glutathione recycling. In fact, the glutathione can help with gut repair too, help with leaky gut. Glutathione help with glutathione recycling system itself, help with leaky gut, and help with the Th3 regulatory T cells. So again, we use Glutathione Synergy, which is this product. That's a breakthrough product. The first one in its industry that's in a liposomal form that delivers reduced glutathione and acetylglutathione and NAC in a liposomal formula that tastes great in a liquid form. It's awesome. Okay? So that helps. Another thing that helps is vitamin D3. And the product I really like there is D3 Pro 2000. This is a liquid emulsified product. That means the fat nutrient, vitamin D, is a fat-soluble vitamin. It's made to be water-soluble, and it's readily absorbed by the body. It's very cost-effective, and each droplet contains 2,000 IU. And I have seen over and over again when people say, oh, I take 10,000 IU vitamin D, but the vitamin D is still in the crapper. We give them the D3 Pro 2000, D3 goes up in 2 to 3 months. How do I know? Follow-up blood tests, we see it. We see it go up by 30 points, 50 points, 100 points sometimes. Sometimes it overshoots it because it's so strong. So this is a great product. Another thing that really helps is fish oil. We use a product called OmegaPure Pro. This is in a gel cap. This is a high-potency DHA and EPA product. You need both forms of omega-3, EPA and DHA. DHA is brain protective. EPA is more generalized inflammatory protection. This helps support TH3. It also helps support the NF-kappa B to some degree. But you need to have proper omega-3 levels in order for you to dampen that inflammatory pathway and help support T-regulatory T cells. The next step is TH17. So following the TH1, TH2, and TH3, you have another pathway down here called the T helper 17. This pathway is where you have this inflammatory damage from this particular isomer, and that's the next step here, the INOS. What does that mean? It means inducible nitric oxide synthase. So this is an enzyme that triggers inflammation and triggers the actual damage, the tissue damage. So this pathway here triggers the actual damage. So in people with rheumatoid arthritis, the joints all damaged, it's caused by this inducible nitric oxide. What is inducible? Meaning it's induced by inflammation, inflammatory cytokines. It's induced by inflammation. So when you become inflamed through the self-amplifying pathway, you get inflamed, right? This triggers that inflammation genetically, so your cells start to respond and make these inflammatory cytokines, inflammation markers, and that inflammation marker can cause your body to release these inducible nitric oxide to create a damage. So we need to dampen that because this is very damaging to you. Okay, so dampen that. There's a product we use called Nitric Synergy. Now the cool thing about that is this product actually supports circulation. It actually helps improve blood flow. And remember, in my previous video, I talked about the importance of following a roadmap. How the bottom rung of the roadmap, the foundation piece to your health is circulation, is blood flow. If you have low blood pressure, you have cold hands, cold feet, you can't deliver blood to your tissue, forget about it. You cannot heal. And this product actually improves circulation. And for people with autoimmune, you give me someone with autoimmune, I'll give you someone that has cold hands, cold feet, hair loss, that have poor circulation. That's just what happens. So this actually improves circulation. But moreover, this contains compound that actually dampens the INOS, the inducible, and improve the two different good ones. So with this nitric oxide synthase, there are 3 different forms. You have this inducible, which is the bad guy, This is a bad form of this, okay? But you have two good ones. They're called the endothelial, which actually is the one that improves the circulation. It opens up blood vessels and improves your heart health, good for cardiovascular support. That's good for heart health and circulation. And also, there's also a form called neuronal nitric oxide synthase. So this particular compound has three different forms. This is the bad one, these two are good ones. This product called Nitric Synergy improves the good ones and reduces the bad one, and improves circulation at the same time. So there you have it. You have the 7 main steps, main areas where things can malfunction in people with autoimmune on a cellular level, right? On a cellular level. Now, we haven't talked about diet and underlying root causes such as infections and toxins. Those are all I discussed in previous video, and I'm going to talk more about it in future videos. But today, just specifically on the 7 major areas of autoimmune reactivity, we have the NF-kappa B self-amplifying loop, where this can create plasticity, where you can become so inflamed, your body gets so used to it, or even if the initial trigger is no longer there, your body will still have the inflammation that's there because your body's producing the inflammation without the trigger now, because it developed that pathway. So the way you dampen that, which I forgot, I got to come back to it, I left you hanging there. The product I use there is called Turmero Potency. Now this is really unique because you may have heard of turmeric or curcumin, and this compound is actually in a gel cap, but it's in liquid form inside the gel cap. Now, Turmero Potency is actually using different type of fats to bind to the turmeric. And what that does is increase the absorption rate of this turmeric significantly, because turmeric or curcumin is a fat-based nutrient. It needs to be delivered in fat. So we can actually deliver very high potency turmeric to you in as little as 2 to 4 capsules. And that's a therapeutic dose. 4 capsules a day is a therapeutic dose where we can decrease most inflammations. So we use that to decrease this NF-kappa B self-amplifying loop, to decrease that genetic expression of inflammation. In the glutathione recycling pathway, we use Glutathione Synergy to deliver 3 different types of glutathione, and 2 different types of glutathione in a precursor in a liposomal form. To help heal the gut barrier, we use GI Resuscitate, but really we use the gut repair kit, GI Resuscitate combination with the NeuroMetabolic Meal, or another product called NeuroMetabolic Paleo, which is a beef protein base, and then FiberFX. To help with Th1, Th2 polarity shift, we don't really directly go after these guys. What we do is we help with the teeter-totter, or the balance of the teeter-totter, which is a regulatory T cell, Th3 system, and what you use there is Glutathione Synergy. Again, glutathione play a key role in a couple of areas. Vitamin D3, D3 Pro 2000, and OmegaPure Pro. How much you take of these? Everybody's a little bit different, right? Obviously, if I have vitamin D, you need to test your blood level of vitamin D. So I can't tell you how much to take. It depends on what your situation is. Even with the Glutathione Synergy, that dosage can be adjusted depending on how inflamed you are, what kind of problem you have, and how you respond to it. So there's no set dosage for it. This is where case review is really helpful. We consult with clients all over the world through video consultation. So if you need help, don't hesitate to reach out to us for a case review. This is where we do a deep dive and find out what's going on with you, dig into your history, and we actually identify these things, where your breakdown might be, as well as to identify an underlying root cause, and give you a program that's going to help you with a lot of accountability and support, teach you how to modify your lifestyle, teach you what supplement to take, and more importantly, what supplement not to take, so you get the results that you're looking for. So you're not wasting time and money doing things that don't work, which is what's happening with many of our clients. Next, Th17, we can dampen it through Nitric Synergy, which will improve circulation, decrease inflammation, as well as improving the function of your circulation, and even helping with neuroplasticity, building positive plasticity in your brain. Okay? So there you have it, the 7 mechanisms for autoimmune and ways to address that. And this is just a small piece of the puzzle, folks. It's not about the supplements, it's about having a relationship with a healthcare practitioner that has the experience and the understanding, can explain to you, and willing to take the time to invest in that relationship with you and see you through it. That's really the biggest thing. The supplements can help. Absolutely. I'm going to put all the links to all the product on this post so you can see it. But really, at the end of the day, you can take the product, you can feel better, and I hope you do, because these products is what I rely on with my clients. But if you're still having issues, Remember, it's not just about the product. You may need to have someone work with you to teach you how to use the product, what dosage. That's where lab tests come in. Case review will be very beneficial for you. So thank you so much for watching. Hope this video helped you. Please like and share this video with other people who need to hear this message of wellness. And we'll see you next week at the Ask Dr. Kong Show. Take care.